I would like to call this meeting of the Narragansett Regional School District School Committee to order. If you would all please rise to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As a reminder, this meeting is being live streamed and recorded. It's available to watch on YouTube. Moving into our regular business, I would entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes of March 30th, 2026 as written.
So moved.
Motion by Sean, second by Heather. Any questions or comments about this minutes? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? And I say yes, so that is unanimous. I would additionally entertain a motion to accept the bills and payroll warrants as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Sean. Second by Heather. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? I say yes, so that is unanimous. We do not have our student rep here this evening. I'm sure she is very busy with little things as the end of the year starts to get closer. So we will look forward to when she can join us. And is there any public input this evening? Okay. Who would like to speak first? Just, you know, the drill, name and town.
Hi, Tim Toth, speaking as a citizen, Town of Templeton, citizen taxpayer. I was a little disenchanted on Easter Sunday with you, Madam Chair, when you posted some slides on Facebook. And I know we all have our First Amendment rights, we can do that. I believe the slides came out of your April 2nd school committee meeting. There was some information, may or may not have been proper to share, some interesting content, and then there was some interesting follow-up information that some individuals deleted afterwards. That's fine, that's their choices. Two of the things that struck a chord with me very deeply. If a $2 million override in the town gives the school $1 million, very presumptive on your part. But if it didn't happen and we would start cutting, and it was all elementary school teachers, that's what really got me fired up. So I went and did some quick research. As of 10:30 this morning, off the DESE website, very interesting. The MCAS scores, third grade, ELA. Templeton doesn't do all that great. The orange column is the underperforming third grade students in ELA. I was like, partially meeting expectations, 55 students out of the level. You want to cut the third grade teachers? I don't think that's a really great idea. Although I will give you credit, 2% are exceeding expectations. Another 3% are meeting expectations. That was awesome. But it's like, is this really where you want to go? Seriously? And if I had students in the elementary school, I would be jumping up and down all over the place. As for the rest of it, if anybody paid attention, at the end of March and on April 6th and again on April 10th, the select board hadn't even finalized if they were going forward with the override. So again, it was rather presumptive of this board to sit and say, oh, here's what's going to go on. It was pie in the sky, folks. Please remember that. Pie in the sky. That's all I have.
Good evening. Thank you for the time, Madam Chair. Jeff Bennett, I live in Templeton. I have two things I'd like to comment on. First one is today I received from the Division of Local Services the House Ways and Means budget. The town The House one was the governor's budget, was 1,779,245 for unrestricted general government aid. The House Ways and Means lowered that to $1,749,068. I don't know how they think that works. For Narragansett Regional School District, Chapter 70, the governor's House One bill had Chapter 70 at 13,137,592. The House Ways and Means has it $13,237,592. As most people know, or at least members of the school committee, and myself as a member of the select board in Templeton, these are not final numbers. It's a guess thing, but it's what we have to deal with. It's bad to see the town go down because the town is responsible for paying an assessment bill to the school. But it's good to see that the state aid bumped up, even though not nearly enough. My second thing would be, I would echo what Mr. Toth said about first grade teachers and the students, but I will do it in my own little, because I'm just a simple little guy from Templeton. You get a puppy and his early years, his early time when you have him, that's when you train him, you get him where he knows where to go, not to touch, what to do, go to the door to do his business. You train him up to about a year old. That's it. That's the time you have to spend time with him and be constant looking at him and working with him. When he gets older, he pretty much figures it out and he knows what to do and what not to touch, this or that. I'm an old guy, but I still remember when I was in school in the first and second and third grades, we got that attention from our first, second, third grade teacher, who we would run with all day. You learn how to write letters. You learn how to do numbers. Then you put letters to make words. You take numbers and you add them or subtract them. So when I see the first attempt at a budget reduction, how do you cut this or that? And I see first grade teachers being cut. When my thought is 11th and 12th graders, they're getting ready to leave this place, go out and into the reality. Those are the students that could get along with one less teacher. It's not the best thing to have to get rid of anyone, but if you're going to remove teachers, the first and second and third grades is the place you should not touch. Those teachers should be there because it's the most important time in that little kid's life when they walk into this school building. The older kids, if you pile 35 kids in a class and, they have one less teacher, again, it's not perfect, it's not good, but if you have two bad choices and you got to pick one, pick the higher grade teachers and let the little kids have their teachers they're the ones that need the most attention. They need it the most. And I understand the process and I get it, and it's not easy to do, but that is my opinion, and that's what I would hope the school committee, looking at their budget, being the situation with an override, and I don't really think it's going to pass, so we'll be here talking about the school budget, town budget, a number of times. But I would hope that you would consider, if you have to make budget cuts, don't do it at the first, second grade, third grade level. Do it at the higher grades. The little kids need it the most and they deserve it the most. Thank you for your time, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Okay. Moving into FY 26 and FY 27 budget dates. Anne Marie, Dr. C.
The only thing I have for FY 26 is we finalize the loan, the temporary borrowing for the roof, so that is all specs with the interest numbers. And just going to send a letter over to them tomorrow. Just letting them know what the real number is, because the other ones have just been placeholders.
In terms of FY 27, obviously there's a lot going on all at the same time. Constant communication, East Templeton, in terms of what's the semblance that, so, we're slogging through it, and so we'll get there. Okay, we'll get to where we're gonna get to, we're just trying to make sure it's right.
I will say one thing we were asked to speak about this evening, in our chairs meeting on Monday was to talk more broadly about, the impacts to the town as a whole. And I promised I would do that. I know that something I have said on repeat in every single one of our budget meetings is that it's important to sit down with our town, with folks from our towns to understand the total, financial pressures that our towns are facing and to understand what the impact of those are. It's not just about the school, there's safety, police, fire, there's essential services like the senior center, library, et cetera. And so, if that has not been abundantly clear as I talk about needing to partner with our towns and make sure that we're having open, honest conversations with one another. I want to make sure that that comes out in this time right now. Because, the conversations around overrides aren't just about protecting the school and the school's budget. It's about protecting the services that, the extended services that folks in our towns are counting on. I promised I would make sure that that was getting voice as well, because there's important services for our seniors. There's important services for members of the community who don't have kids in schools here because they need those police and fire services just like everybody else. And so, having these conversations and facing these financial pressures, it's important for us to be reflective of the total impact, and to be considering, what happens to these folks if the library shuts down or the senior center shuts down as a result of the financial pressures that towns are facing. I think there was broad recognition in our chairs meeting that Templeton is not alone, Phillipston is not alone, in facing these pressures. Lots of towns are having the exact same conversations we are. There's articles in the newspapers about it. It's broadly recognized. We don't see the action we would want to at the state. Mr. Bennett is just sharing those numbers. There's certainly other things we would like to see that the state is doing, and yet I don't know what's going to happen in time this particular budget season. So, we continue to advocate through our MASC, through MASS. Those are conversations that are heavily had at the school, across school committees, et cetera. So I just wanted to make sure that that was stated. Anne business management report.
Regional last time,
Okay,
small.
that's right. I forgot about that. Program of studies. Is there an attachment?
Yes.
I believe you, it locked me out. Hold on.
While you're logging in, would you like me to speak to what the?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. The first attachment is a single page and it is an overview of the changes that you'll see in the program of studies document. And then the second document, I believe they're in that order, I'm not quite sure, but the second document is an actual draft, red line version of our program of studies. It's the other way around, thank you. For the upcoming school year. And so as you'll see on the draft, any changes that involve the deletion of any information, you'll see lines through, and then you'll see red text where we are proposing any changes. So there's some minor tracking changes that you'll see. You'll see the insertion of and reference to MyCap on page 10. MyCap stands for My Career and Academic Plan, and it's a long-term planning tool that is used by students in grades 8 through 12 to support college and career planning as they go through our high school. It's been used and in practice for many years. We just realized it was omitted in our program of studies, so we've just added the reference to it so that it aligns with practice. You'll see the majority of changes in our social sciences or social studies history department. Interestingly, this aligns with our curriculum review and management plan. We are in a cycle of review this year to be reviewing our social sciences or history social studies curriculum. Our high school team has been doing a really diligent job reviewing the curriculum frameworks, both the content frameworks and the practice frameworks, otherwise known as the standards. And so they've been revising their curriculum and making sure that their curriculum is in alignment, and they've been putting a real strong emphasis on transfer skills in each of the units that they are teaching for students. So what you'll see, there's no changes to courses or pathways. There's just been changes to the descriptions as they are tightening up and revising their curriculum maps for those courses. You'll see one additional art class added. You'll see mosaic art. It's on page 34. This course is being added to support. We're not planning to run this course currently unless we need to with budget cuts. So we are planning this course as an additional elective option so that if we have cuts in other departments at the high school, we would be able to put another elective in place and not have to bring you a revised program of studies down the road. So we are proactively putting this class in place as a placeholder should we need to support an additional art class for an elective. It's part of our scheduling. I was gonna say nightmare sometimes, but puzzle, we'll say puzzle. And then you'll see a little bit of updates to our description for our academic coaching program. I think we've updated this in the last few years. We're always tweaking and revising this program to best meet the needs of our students. And then lastly, you will see updates to physical education. Our PE and health team has been working this year to realign their curriculum. And one of the things that we are doing to ensure that students over the course of their high school get access to a wide range of frameworks is we are running courses on an A year or a B year. So when students are assigned to 9-10 health, and then the next year they're assigned to 9-10 health or 9-10 PE, and then 9-10 PE the next year, we want to make sure that the content that they're having varies in that 2-year cycle. So we have put in an A year and a B year because we're small. We don't have the ability to put all of those in place for students without combining grades. And so in order to do that, we're doing an alternating year. And then the other thing, which I'm so sorry I don't see, I think I just forgot to put it on the form, is we are adding plumbing to our MVP program for next year. And I'm just realizing those didn't make it here. So I will pending this, I will get you an updated version of this for our next meeting. But what you should have on here, and I apologize, it just dawned on me now as I was talking through this, we will also be looking to add the course descriptions for plumbing for the students when they have their on-site technical education at Monty Tech for those on-off weeks. So there'll be essentially a plumbing 11 and a plumbing 12. And my apologies, that was my mistake for not putting these on there. So that's the summary of the changes.
Do you want us to suspend voting until next time, or does it help you to approve it as it is now and then knowing that we're going to vote again once you added the plumbing?
It would actually be helpful if you would vote now because we are already in process for scheduling for next year. So it would be helpful to be able to get course numbers for a few of these courses, and then I could bring the revisions. And I can just give you the revisions. It's less than a half page.
Okay, thank you. So we'll get a motion on the table and then we'll open it up for discussion. I would entertain a motion to approve the 2026 to 2027 program of studies as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Sean. Second by Heather. Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Sean.
First and foremost, thank you for putting all the work in to write all those course descriptions, as I know how much fun that can be. So my question is this Director of Pupil Personnel, is this a new position? Are we renaming a position? Where's that position coming from?
Absolutely. So first, I would like to say I can't take all the credit. Our teacher leaders and our high school administration did the bulk of the revisions here, so I'll extend the thank you to them. And then, no, our PPS director, his position has been here forever. It is currently Heidi It was
Fine.
Yeah, thank you. She's been in the role for about a year now, and prior to that, it was Corey Rogers, prior to that was Matt Holloway. So no, the position is not a new position.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's essentially our special ed director.
Yeah, no, I just for clarifications, because we shouldn't be looking at these positions right now, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Don't be too hard on yourself on the plumbing, because I've been to many meetings and Monty Tech wasn't sure if plumbing was going to be available to the students. So it sounds like it is, and that's really great to hear.
I can speak to that. Yeah, we, if that's okay, Madam Chair.
Yep, no
Great. So yes, we are still in the application process. We've submitted portion A, we've submitted portion B. The last step in the process is an on-site visit. The on-site visit is going to happen in May, and when I say on-site, they're actually not coming here to Narragansett. They are going to Monty Tech, to the MVP Academy building. They need to go through and look at the space that was designated and built for plumbing and assess the space and make sure it's appropriate for the Voc Tech education. And so once that happens, we should be getting approval. The state has essentially said to us, you're on track to be approved, go ahead and enroll students. And so once that happens, and we receive the designation, then we are eligible to apply for what's called the implementation grant, which is a one-year grant to help support costs to get the program up and running. The reason that's important is because you'll see on some of our scenario situations for budget that one of the cuts is our MVP teacher. And so while that position is going to be cut from the general fund, we anticipate being able to fund that position for 1 year under the implementation grant. Implementation grant is good for 1 year. So we have a 1-year plan to keep that position in place. Additionally, the state is approving enrollment for juniors only and not seniors, which is ironic because they did approve us enrolling seniors the first year for electrical and house carpentry. But they are saying that they are not going to approve plumbing because students won't have the opportunity to go through the full 2 years of the vocational technical training. So our partnership program, us, Gardner, Fitchburg, and Monty Tech got together. We are going to enroll students that are seniors anyways, and we are going to write the cost of the students enrolling into our implementation grant, which the state has given us essentially the okay to do. So we are still going to provide that opportunity to seniors. We actually, 5 o'clock this evening, parents received letters for the outcome of the lottery because we do run a lottery to enroll students. We had 9 junior seats open for enrollment for next year, 3 of those in carpentry, 3 in electrical, 3 in plumbing, and we had 3 senior seats, which is unusual for us, but because we are starting a new program, we had 3 seats for plumbing for seniors. We had 17 applicants. So we do not have enough space to support all of the student interest. And so per the policy the school committee approved last year, we did go through a lottery process. And those letters were being sent out at 5 o'clock this evening to the families and students who were through the lottery process accepted into this program. Students who were not chosen to be in the program are on a wait list, and should spaces become available, we essentially go break down that list. So we kept going with the lottery system. So we have a list coming of students that may be interested but didn't get in this round.
Thank you.
Oh, just as a follow-up question.
Yeah.
So with enrolling those seniors, is that in place of some of the juniors, or is that on top of some of the juniors? And then the question is, does Monty Tech have the bandwidth to handle all that selection?
Yes, so the tricky part about if we were to only enroll juniors is that we can't, so we have, let's just talk plumbing. We have slots for 6 students, 3 juniors, 3 seniors. If we were to enroll 6 juniors, the following year, we have no spots to enroll juniors again. So we have to keep the balance of juniors and seniors to keep the 2-year flow. And Monty Tech was very encouraging for us to enroll seniors because they have to hire a full-time staff member either way. And with the model that we've put in place, our juniors spend a week on campus, then they're here. Our seniors spend a week on their campus, then they're here. So if we didn't sound seniors, then they have a staff member that only is half-time. And that doesn't really work with the model that we've all agreed on and put in place and then DESI supports. So it's kind of a quirky situation for us, but we, across the board, the full team wants seniors and we want to give the opportunity, so.
Understood. I'm sorry to put you on
No,
blast.
it's not great. I could talk about this all day. I love this program so much.
Are the 3 seniors that we are going to enroll, they gonna be adequately equipped with the correct or enough knowledge to leave there, or is there a plan for any foundational support for those individuals that technically would be your lunch?
Yeah, yes and no. So they won't have the full 900 hours of vocational technical training. They will have about half of that, and they will have an opportunity, so Monty Tech's going to offer a night program.
Fine,
So should they want to get that full credential, there'll be an opportunity for them to do that.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we had a similar situation when we kicked off the MVP program because we had to enroll both juniors and seniors. So the seniors that enrolled at that time only got that 1 year.
Yeah, no, I just don't want to see anybody in a position where, you know, we've gone halfway through and we're not setting these students up for success when they leave here. So that's where my questions came from.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I will say, on a side note, but related, we had our first student placed from MVP Academy into I want to say an internship, but it's called something. Apprenticeship, thank you.
Free.
Co-op, yeah, co-op is what they're calling it. I know, just throw all the terms out when we'll be right. And so our student Drew has an apprenticeship, and it's interesting, the reason he received the apprenticeship for co-op, or internship, is because one of our seniors who graduated from the program last year works at the company and was good friends with Drew and gave him a reference, and so we're excited to start that process. One of the things we're going to be putting out to the community pretty quickly, Katie Donnelly, our program coordinator, is working on flyers. We're going to be reaching out to the community to see if we have anyone who is in the electrical field, carpentry field, or plumbing field who holds the correct credentials to host a student through co-op or, co-op. And would be interested so that we can start creating a list of resources with community partners or extended community partners that could host some of our students. So we're excited to start developing that part of the program and supporting that as well. I keep going, I'm so excited.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna bring
I
these
think
up.
this is the most conversation we've ever had about the program since is there anything else? All right, no, excellent. So we have a motion on the table. Seeing no further questions or comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? And I say yes, so that is unanimous, and we look forward to the materials as they come.
Bring those back.
All right, perfect. We do have a donation this evening. Do you want to speak to that, Susan?
So this is a donation we've gotten probably the last 6 or so years from Don Bouchard, who happens to be a former employee. She holds every year a comedy show, and with proceeds from the comedy show, she donates to local Special Olympics teams in our district. This year has been Gardner, and so this year she donated $2,000 towards our Special Olympics team / program. And she's very thankful for that. She does it every year, so it's been great.
So, excellent. Please extend our thanks because this is an amazing thing, and I know it's an amazing event too. So, I would entertain a motion to accept a donation of $2,000 from Donna Bouchard to be used towards any expenses related to the NRSD Special Olympics team or program.
So moved.
Motion by Sean,
Second.
second by Hank. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? And I say yes, so that is unanimous. Superintendent report.
Madam Chair, just giving it the time, I know Kristen gave my report last time, but we've, let's see, I'm in my 10th year. And so I will say that this budget process that we're undertaking this year is probably, without a doubt, the most difficult that here. And actually trumps any of my experiences as business manager in another district before that. I think what's been different this time is that, interestingly, there's been more conversation about this budget than there's ever been before. And I don't know the reason why. I truly do not. But there's been more contention about the communication than the actual budget. So how it's always worked in the past is that in essence, the district is given a number and the district then tries to meet that number, okay? With wavering success or not, depending on who you are. Right? So the numbers are so large at this point that that we really haven't had a number in which to hit. Now, in a quick scan of Facebook prior to me coming into the meeting, there's a lot of going on, as you could probably imagine, on Facebook. But what I can say to you is that the numbers that we have been using to kind of guide us to where we're going to end up have all been absolutely, they have been, I'm not going to use the word fictitious, but they've been an exercise because we have to have a direction. Because I have a responsibility to staff. I need to let staff know that they potentially may be cut or not cut. And when I have these conversations, I do them in person, part of union representation, et cetera. So what's unfortunate is that it's the communication process that is being labeled as dirt. And I personally don't think that that's correct. What I understand is that people are talking about overrides. No one said anything that I don't know if there's going to be an override. I've only seen one override vote here, and it died miserably at the box by 300 some odd votes. We are trying to prepare what that means. So what does it mean if you're preparing for an override? You have to prepare for that. If it even happens, you don't know how much you're going to get, of course, but you have to try to figure that out. You have to figure out just 2.5% over last year, which is, we've talked about how devastating that would be for everybody. Not, again, for the town, for the school, for everyone, for the town of Taunton, period. And so I think that what we're going through are some growing pains in terms of communication. I will say openly now, because I've already emailed my entire staff, as you know, a lot of criticism has been that, only certain people are going to be cut, and that is just bad, bad fool, or, it's a tactic that you're going to cut these teachers and not administrators. My email to the staff and to others, as you know, laid out the fact that there is absolutely going to be a cut to administrator. The problem is, and it's not a problem, the right way to do it is to make sure that everything is done correctly. So when someone comes to you and says, I have been offered a job, and you say, that's fantastic, or whatever you say, that doesn't end it. They have to, especially administrators, they have to negotiate a new contract, which takes time. Then they have to sign the contract. Then they have to get the contract signed by the school committee or whomever the entity is who's hiring them. It could be just the superintendent. And then that letter has to come back. For those looking for a pound of flesh, absolutely, from almost the very beginning, there has been an administrative cut. I have not brought it up. Why? Because it wasn't appropriate to bring up. Matter of fact, in some ways, you could say it's not legal, but it's not appropriate to bring up a cut that you don't know is absolutely going to happen. Now that we have more conversation, I will tell you that those cuts are listed, but I still don't have a number. But I have to prepare as if there are. There is an equal and equitable amount of cuts across the board. The problem is that the number is so large that I can't just save the elementary. I can't save the middle school, whatever wants to be saved. These are very large numbers, and they're going to, of course, cut across the board. Absolutely. And it's going to cut across the board for the town of Templeton. So I want to do this right, regardless of what people are saying on Facebook. I am still committed to this process. I have been open. I have been at every meeting I've been requested. And again, I'm not defending myself. I don't need to. I'm open to I need the number. I need to understand what I'm cutting. I do have an obligation contractually then to tell the people who are in fact on the list. So I need a number. Whether it's 2.5, I can give that. I can give you, not this minute, of course, but I can tell you something like 25 staff. If you're going to ask me who those 25 staff are right now, that's impossible because they bump and everybody has different certifications. And so I have to figure out that just because Anne Marie was hired in 1996, she has 4 licenses. So she's going to be bumped. Oh, no, wait, because somebody who's hired in 1998 doesn't have a sped. It is very complicated stuff. It also is affecting people personally and their families. So when I have this meeting and I tell them that they potentially, I think, I don't know, may not have a job, but the very best thing I can do is give you some time to go find a job in case it doesn't happen, or if it does happen, I don't know. I'm going to stand by that 100%. So what I'm going to say to the school committee is that you need to advocate for a number. You need to give me the number, not you, I need to know the number. If it's 2.5, I'll present it the very next time. There will be plenty of blood spilled, I promise, across the board, because that's the only thing that I've been dealing with for 3 weeks. Are there administrators? Yes. Are there going to be multiple? Probably. Are there going to be high school teachers? Yes. Are there going to be middle school teachers? Yes. Custodians? Yes. Cafeteria? Yes. Central office? Yes. Elementary? You bet. It's going to be across the board. So before we have World War IV on Facebook, let's calm down for a minute. Let's go ahead and all agree that this is horrible for Tunbridge. I'm supposed to go talk to our delegation here in 20 minutes about chapter 70. One of them is no longer even part of our delegation because he's given his resignation. So that should be great. But I'm going to go and I've prepared the notes as I've been asked. I am all in. But what I want is everybody to stop with the Facebook. How about giving me a call? I'll tell you what I can, but I don't know until I have what the number I am trying to hit. It is impossible not to consider the override or the potential of an override. If it's going to be an override, I understand Mr. Bennett explains it better than anybody I've ever met, not just pumping his tires. I don't know if even we get a penny of the 2.5, of the 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, whatever it ends up being. I could get 0. I can give you that. But if I'm only going to get 500,000, I've got to figure that out. But I need to know this information so I can put out factual information. But I got to tell you, if you're asking me or if you care, what is my priority? It's the people who work for me. I need to let them know. It is April. Every town around us is cutting. Bad. I want to give my people as much opportunity to find a job as humanly possible. So I don't think I'm asking for a lot. Okay? I remain very committed to this process. I promised, and I'm going to keep my promise. I would just like someone to just get up, pick up the phone, and let's have a conversation. I will answer anything I can within bounds. And I need the school committee's support to do that. That's all I got.
We don't have any items not unreasonably anticipated, and so I will open up the floor for school committee comments.
I'm Chair, would it be all right if I addressed the 2 comments that were made during public comment?
I'm fine with that, although it cannot become an exchange. Just to remind everyone, it is not a conversation.
Number 1 being to just provide some additional information so that anyone watching the meeting would have a better context of. Okay. So I actually have a comment for both of the the citizens who showed up for public comment tonight. I appreciate both of you coming and presenting your information. That's so important because the Facebook commentary is stop. Mr. Toth, I really appreciate you going on to the DESE website to get the data as far as the third grade. But you're missing some pieces that are really important, especially for anyone who's listening at home. So you are presenting the third grade MCAS data from last year. That is the first time a student is taking an assessment. If you've seen the assessment, is incredibly complicated, and we typically will see third graders struggle with using the platform. I think a better use or a better set of data would be the data that our assistant superintendent presented at the February 26th meeting, which is our benchmark data or our STAR assessment, because that's a comparison of students nationally. And 75% of that particular group you're talking about, the third graders, are proficient. They're proficient readers. And that is a credit to the third grade teachers and to Mr. Perchi and the teacher leaders and building administration. Those students are used to taking that assessment. They take it from kindergarten on. And so that is a better measure of the progress and of achievement for that particular grade. I agree that we want to provide as much as we humanly possibly can for all of our elementary classrooms. And this committee fought for additional support staff in that building. We would love to protect all of the teaching positions in that building because that is where all of the hard work is done. Mr. Bennett, I wholeheartedly agree that we need to ensure that we have as small class sizes in the middle school, as small as possible, elementary school, sorry. I think that the idea that we can't cut in the middle school, but we can cut in the upper grades, the 11th or 12th graders, that isn't how high school works. We don't have 11th grade teachers. We don't have 12th grade teachers. We have teachers that teach content areas. We have to meet Mass Core requirements. We have to meet competency determination requirements. We have to provide certain number of electives for students to be competitive if they leave here. And so cutting 11th or 12th grader or the upper grade is not something that is easy to do. In addition, if we start to cut high school teachers, as part of the proposal, we had 2 high school teachers cut. We couldn't touch the middle school, but we touched everywhere else. And that's just a proposal, a shot in the dark, because we don't have a number. Trying to assess where we could if we absolutely have to. If we plan on trying to avoid more students choicing out, eliminating anything is not ideal, but certainly not in high school, where surrounding towns have electives and opportunities running that would entice other students to go there. And so I would encourage the public, after listening to the comments that were made, to make sure they go back to the February 26th meeting and look at the data that was presented to the school committee, and as well as our last meeting where we looked at potential for cuts to see that it wasn't just the middle school or the elementary school, do it again, that we looked at various areas. And thank you to our third grade teachers for doing an amazing job.
Any other speaking comments? Sean?
Yeah, I'm just gonna second a couple of things that Danielle said. I also feel the same way that a data point from last year is not a great data point to look at. I also want to say that I agree with Mr. Bennett as well, in terms of, it's just a tough problem, across the board. But, that puppy story is where I stand with that. My question to you, Madam Chair, is just so everybody understands about this magical number. How do we advocate to get that number? That would be my question, because I actually agree with a lot of things that Dr. C said too, is he's trying to cut to something that doesn't really exist. So how do we advocate to get to that?
We've had multiple chairs meetings to indicate, you know, that this is something that we need to work on together, we need to work towards together. Every meeting is a little bit different. At this last meeting, I was told that we should be planning to only get our 2.5%, and that's all. That was absent the understanding that we would be out of compliance, because at that point we have to cut so many positions that we can no longer meet the standards that it takes to effectively run our school. So I don't know what to do with some of that feedback that I've received from some folks. I know that Dr. Cassavant talks to the town administrator almost every day. And I can share that, we're certainly advocating in every space that's available to us for that. If I need to send emails, if I need to, I would be happy to do that. But unfortunately, we have the word from Phillipston is that they would like us to hit a 2.5%. As I will repeat again, we cannot run the district and be compliant at that percentage. And so that is not a number that we can work with. And so that is where we sort of end up in this very circular conversation. And so we are looking at every available scenario as the town is also doing. Also looking at those. What I can say is I know that Templeton put up a very informational webpage around what are some of the scenarios they're looking at, what happens if the override doesn't pass, and I know that the district is planning to do the same.
Can I just follow up? So if the school committee and the towns don't come to an agreement on what this is 2.5 the number at that point in time?
No, we go into 112.
I was gonna say, or it's a 112 budget, but
We go
that's based on last year's budget.
That's based on last year's budget.
Very good.
Combinations of.
Yeah, but regardless, even if we do put forward a number, it's still contingent upon the towns to pass it, regardless of exactly which percentage we go. So,
Understood. Thank you.
I post on Facebook very often. It's very, very selective. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy the back and forth that I have to engage in. I certainly don't enjoy losing the time with my family that I spend responding to notes. However, when I do, I always share information that has already been shared in our school committee meetings. And it is always because I have been made aware of significant amounts of misinformation being posted on Facebook. And in this particular instance, I was additionally made aware that a teacher was effectively being bullied on her post where she was promoting and defending her school district and her job and the jobs of her peers. And so, to deflect that and to make sure that correct information was shared, yes, I did post on Facebook. And every single piece of information I posted came from our school committee meetings. They were not my opinions. They were factual information that was shared. I certainly welcome folks to take issue with that. I also take issue with folks in position of power engaging with our teachers in a way that can be perceived as bullying. I additionally take issue with people in positions of power posting information that they assume is correct instead of checking it with either Dr. Cassavant or myself. I will end it there because I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this. I will keep most of them to myself. However, you will only see me on Facebook posting and taking away that time from my family when it is because I have been alerted to incorrect information being shared as facts. Moving on. Finance and facilities was canceled because we have had a tremendous number of meetings about budget, and we do not have any additional information to talk about in those meetings. And so we are suspending those for right now until we have new topics to actually district operations. Any updates? They didn't meet. Labor Management Committee, my only update is that UFCW contract negotiations remain ongoing, but no further commentary there. When we're ready to discuss that further, we will plan an executive session. Bill is our liaison to CPAC, and he is not here this evening, so we will move to PTO. Any updates from PTO? Okay. Peter was our liaison to Student Advisory Council. That's still an open position that we're looking to replace, and any legislative updates.
We do have a new piece of legislation that's pretty exciting. We are heading into a new school year where it is quite possible that we will have a no cell phone policy from bell to bell and some limits on social media for students.
Been talking about that possibly coming for a while. Our next meeting is May 7th, 2026 at 5:30 PM. We do not need executive session, and so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Before we adjourn, could I see that the next meeting for the school committee is May 7th. The town of Phillipston is having their elections on May 6th. So my understanding is, this school committee will be losing 2 members.
Your election isn't until May 18th. Your
Yes.
town meeting is May 6th.
Do I have it backwards? Oh, I guess I do.
Yeah.
We used to do it the other way, and we changed it.
Yeah, both they temple to Phillipston. Yeah,
They
so.
got one more.
So you know,
He said like, you're thinking, this is it.
No.
But I will share one quick thing, though. I have to say that, this has been a great experience. Madam Chair, you are very professional. I know you're true to your word because I've communicated with you many, many times. I've attended many school committee meetings before becoming a member. And the reason why I chose to be here till the end of the term is because of you and this committee. These people work very hard and they do a very good job. They're doing the best they can with what they have. I also want to share that I would have questions and I would communicate that with Susan Barney. And she was always there to answer my questions. And Anne Marie, anything to do with budgets, Anne Marie was there for me too. So I want to end with that I'm very grateful. And I think anyone that would want to be on this committee would be very welcomed and supported. And it's a good committee to be on.
Thank you. We're so thankful that you were here for this year.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. On that note, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Sean, second by Hank. All in favor?
Aye.
And no one is opposed or abstaining.
Not allowed to be